I don't, as a matter of principle. I don't think not even a matter of principle. I just don't provide, Bermuda Triangle disclaimers to my art, to my writing, to my investigations and my disclosures. It's perfectly obvious from the fact that nobody watches them and nobody ever responds. Nobody ever tries to befriend me on the basis of my work. That um, the internal dialogue of the people who know about my efforts provides its own Bermuda Triangle disclaimer. That's why nobody watches it. Nobody cares. Even though I've demonstrated probable cause for organized crime disclosures, murders, some of them very significant ones, can be brought to light through my research. No, nobody bothers with any of it. So this little note is no exception, but there was a crossover between the Hollywood scriptwriters and the movies that were coming out. Like James Kasperowski, who attacked me, had arms that were full of veins popping out the way Charles Bronson's do. And this is significant because when Midori Goto went for my throat, she used the neuroplastic reaction formation of seizure related responses to rejection and amplified them while portraying herself as avenging John Lennon by showing preference for the man who assassinated me as a child. And there was a Charles Bronson in Dealey Plaza. So Charles Bronson, one of his career moves was to walk into a party, tell the man that he was going to take his wife, and succeeded in doing that, married her. And then, this found its way into the gossip columns. And, Death Wish was the undercurrent of the genocide pornography's justification for itself. Well, there was a namesake of Charles Bronson in Dealey Plaza, so they made off with Jacqueline Onassis jumped the ship after participating in the murders of the Kennedy brothers. You could see that by following her movements with Onassis, even before when Kennedy was still alive, she was going to meet with Onassis. So um, what you see is the the idea of humiliating the United States by the women making it out that they were leaving home, that they even damn rather to be with the British eccentric millionaires. So humiliating me was a study. It was done to John Fitzgerald Kennedy, James McRowland Crary were simpaticos, and so they want you to play into rejecting the nationalist state and ignore the legacy, and that's what you did. I can see by not following any of this, but because may seem to be um, asking a lot of somebody who's spoiled by self delusions. I mentioned in this particular passage that I generally don't engage in Bermuda Triangle disclaimers. There's too much evidence for what I'm talking about that I watch people willfully ignore.